in meetings in the past, you would come into wherever we had our meeting, like at Tangiers, and we would all have half an hour, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. You would meet your table mates and you'd have a discussion. And we've missed that. We've missed that over the time, the last year and a half. So we're going to try in November to do breakout rooms. And ideally, what's going to happen is if you jump on the meeting early, if you jump on the meeting before 12, rather than just sitting in the waiting room like you had been doing, we're going to pull you in and put you in a breakout room with probably 4 other people, maybe 5, depends on how many we have. And you're going to have a couple of questions. Like today, you would have a question, since we're talking about eye and face protection. Today, you would have a question that would say, do you mandate eye and face protection or eye protection? What barriers do you have? Things like that. So we're going to try to get a little bit of discussion going. Hopefully, you're willing to join us. If that sounds like something that you're all interested in, if you guys could look at the bottom of your screen, you have a reaction button. And if you click the reaction, give me like a clap or give me a thumbs up or, you know, give me a boo or whatever you're thinking you might be willing to do. So that's going to be good, just because it's good to know who wants to be. And I know a lot of us miss it. Some folks are introverts, they may not miss it, but we're going to try to get folks talking. So good. I see lots of thumbs up. I love that. Okay, so from the BWC standpoint, I am still here for you. It is still mostly virtual, but a lot of you reach out to me on a very frequent basis, and that's a good thing. Keep doing that. Still answering lots of questions, still doing meetings like this, still doing training, still doing all the stuff that we can help you with. So know that we're here. I put a picture of a dog on there so you look and hopefully smile for at least a second. And we do have webinars. We're still doing the monthly webinars. There's one coming up in October that is the life cycle of a claim. And in addition to those, we have a lot of classes. Now, I'm not showing favorites or anything, but if you notice, one of those is circled, and that is a class that I'm teaching. I'm teaching Safety Series Mod 6, and it's machine guarding and material handling equipment, so like forklifts and cranes. And I'm co-teaching that. It's a half-day class. If you need any credits, that's a good one to take, not only because I'm teaching it because it's a good class, but we have all these other options. I'm also teaching the record-keeping one, too. But I know the Mod 6 is going to apply to a lot of you folks, and it's going to apply to a lot of what we're talking about this year, too. So know that that's there and that's ready to go. We also have so many resources, and I know I tell you this every single month. I try to change the slide so it looks different. But we have the written programs. We have the updated safety talks. We have streaming videos. We have research librarians. There's so much out there. I promise you would not have time to read or go through all of it. So if you're looking for resources, reach out. We could help you. Also, the micro training videos, the trench ones are up and good to go. So if you do any trenching, there's a really good trenching series. It has a training guide. It has a knowledge assessment. It has inspection pages, so much stuff in there. And those are all out there available on our YouTube page. In addition to that, something new and exciting that's coming up. So next month is going to be a little bit different. All right. And hopefully you're listening. Don't tune me out right now. Next month is going to be a little bit different. So we're not meeting on our regular day next month. Next month, we're going to be involved in something called a mega meeting. And a mega meeting is going to be all the safety councils across the state. And we're all getting together on Wednesday, October 6th. It's a little different time, too. So don't be worried. It's okay. It's going to be from 11 to 12, Wednesday, October 6th. Okay. Now, hopefully you all heard that. I'm going to tell you again at the end. Sally's going to send out information multiple times, and it's basically going to be a link that you just put on your calendar and you click on it, and we're going to have a really, really cool motivational speaker. All right, so you're going to get the flyers for that, but big thing, it's different. It's a different day, it's a different time, but that's okay because we're going to get to join with all the other councils in the state, and we're going to have a really neat speaker. So join us for that, definitely. You may even want to have like a watch party. Think about it, because it is a motivational speaker, and you're going to see all the information. We send out the flyer. You may want to have a couple folks or have more than one from your facility join in. And just like all these council meetings, it's free as well. So what we're really excited about, and you can see Curt is already in costume. We are going to talk about eye and face protection today. And as you guys know, we have been going through OSHA Top 10 Most Frequently Cited Standards, and this goes right along with that. So I'm going to pass it over to Curt, and he is with Safety Resources Company of Ohio, and actually he is the leader of Safety Resources. And so I'm going to let him do his own bio, but if we could go back to your reaction button and go ahead and click applause, because we're going to give Curt a warm Summit County Safety Council welcome. So thank you, Curt. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thanks a lot. I'm glad to be here. I got my full face shield. I got my melt shop goggles on. I got my nose protection so I don't get burned on the end of my nose. It's actually even leather. This is probably, I don't know, 50 or 60-year-old goggles that we picked up. I want to talk to you guys today a little bit about eye and face protection and why we need to do it, who says we need to do it, and how we can best protect ourselves. So I brought all my goodies. And one of the things that my students really seem to like is when we talk about goodies, about broken socket wrenches and what happened to that chunk of steel that was in that socket wrench when it was spinning around at 700 RPMs, or the cracks in that steel, or even a broken drill bit. Personal story, I did an accident investigation for a sliced nose. A guy had to get 2 stitches in his nose, and they sent me out to do this investigation. And the glorious thing about it was, I don't know if you want to call it glorious or not, but he had his safety glasses on. He was sweating profusely, and his glasses kept getting fogged up, but he was religiously just wearing those glasses, and he wiped his nose like this. And when he did, the metal chip from this drill bit, when it broke, was on the tip of his nose, and it sliced the top of his nose. Now imagine what that would have done to his eye. And we've only got 2 of them. So that's my lead in. Here's the deal, guys. My name is Curt Speck. I'm the president and CEO of Safety Resources Company of Ohio. I've been involved in safety since the early 1990s. I graduated from West Virginia with a degree in business, and I came to work with a local contractor here in town called Central Allied Enterprises. They put me on a heavy highway contract where I had some safety training because my dad said, hey, you should go take this OSHA class. And it was an after college kind of afterthought, and I just rolled into the safety field. And it's been a roller coaster ever since. We started out with 2 or 3 employees, and we have about 30 right now here in Canton. Our office is located in Beaver Excavating's old office on Southway Street in Canton, down near Canton Drop Forge, Timken, near the refinery. But we're here to help you guys if you need help. If you need an industrial hygienist or you need some safety advice, we can certainly help you with it. That's it for my commercial. Let's talk about eye and face protection. When do you need it? You need it when you least expect it. We all wear eye protection when we're driving down the highway and we've got our dark sunglasses on, your Oakleys or your Ray-Bans. But are those really eye protection? Yeah, they are. They're eye protection from UV light. Are they eye protection from impact? Maybe not. And there's really only one way to know if they are eye protection from impact, and that's if they have the ANSI, ANSI Z87. So the American National Standards Institute has created a standard for eye and face protection. And if it says ANSI Z87 on the inside of the glasses, a lot of times on the arm or on the bridge of the nose, it'll say Z87 or Z87 plus or Z87 plus 1. Those are good indicators that those glasses meet the safety requirements that OSHA has for us. Now, in preparation for this, I was going through my mind thinking, do I need to do a PowerPoint? Do I want to show them pictures? I've got great pictures. I don't know, maybe they're great for me to see or a safety guy to see, but you guys might not want to see them. There's one of a guy with a cutoff wheel where it came off the grinder. He was using a grinder like this, and the cutoff wheel came off the grinder and hit him in the face. And it actually cut part of his face open, and you could see his jaw exposed. We've done accident investigations in the Akron and Canton area, several of them, where guys were using cutoff saws, great big steel cutoff saws, like a chainsaw, but with a round blade on the end of it. And the saw kicks and cuts. And when it kicks, it comes back and it's hit people in the face. Now, you can avoid serious injury sometimes with those types of things by using something as simple as a face shield. with a grinder or a cutoff saw or round wheels. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably don't get involved in that kind of work, but if you have employees that get involved in it, it could be debilitating. It could even be fatal if you don't protect yourselves adequately. Now, on my background here, I put a little, and I don't know if y'all can see that or not. It talks about engineering controls, administrative controls, and then the use of PPE. So what we like to do is we like to engineer out the hazard first. And let me talk a little bit about that. An example of that would be, we got to sandblast an object. So we have a sandblaster and we're going to go out and we're going to blast this object with some sort of blasting media. Well, if we do that in the open air, we got to protect our lungs. So we'll have to wear a respirator. And we're going to have to wear safety glasses and probably a full face shield and probably gloves to protect our hands. So we have to do all those different protective measures if we do that in open air. But if we engineer out those hazards, say for instance, by using a blast cabinet that keeps all the media contained and the object that we're blasting inside the cabinet, we're not breathing the stuff in. It's got a glass shield between us and the media, and we can actually do this process without wearing personal protective equipment. So we have to engineer out the hazard if you possibly can. Another way to control the hazard would be to have administrative controls. Administrative controls means that we make rules, signage, we train people to stay away from that hazardous area, but oftentimes we can't get the work done by keeping people away from that area or having rules that we follow in order to limit the PPE that we need to wear. Lastly is the use of PPE, and that comes into, again, if we're going to sandblast and we can't use that engineering control, or if we're going to do some particular type of work and we can't create a barrier between the object that's causing the damage and ourselves, then we're going to have to use personal protective equipment to create that barrier again between us and that dangerous situation. Now, OSHA has, and you guys I'm sure are familiar with OSHA, all kinds of rules and regulations. There's about 179,000 rules and regulations in the construction field. I'm sorry, in the general industry field, and about 87,000 in the construction field. And I don't know how anybody can ever remember all the rules and regulations. I don't think you can. But as safety people, we know that, and you too, you know that, well, it's got to do with personal protective equipment. So there's a section in the standard that addresses PPE. Or it's got to do with fall protection. So there's a section, and you can go to that fall protection section and look at what those specific rules are. In the general industry standard, I made a few notes here, and you can see my orange highlighter. There's one here that I want to talk to you about, and it says, and incidentally, this is one of OSHA's top 10, is personal protective equipment and the use of personal protective equipment out in the field. So OSHA's top 10, they're focusing on these types of things when they come up to do an inspection. Oftentimes when a compliance officer comes in, he'll ask, do you have personal protective equipment? What do you wear when you do this process? Do you have an assessment that's done? And in construction, the assessment is not required to be in writing, but in general industry, it is required to be in writing. So it says here, the employer has to verify that the required workplace hazard assessment has been performed through a written certification that identifies the workplace evaluated, the person certifying that the evaluation has been performed, the dates of the hazard assessment, and which identifies the document as a certification of hazard assessment. So something at the top that says hazard assessment certification, a name and a date. It only has to be done once, but a company has to have that on file for all the different processes. So if you have welders, you need to do a hazard assessment, PPE certification for those welders and for that type of work. If you have people that pour from a ladle to molten metal, that process has to have a written hazard assessment. So we have written hazard assessments for all these different areas. Then we prescribe PPE, personal protective equipment, that associates to those hazards. And with that PPE, by prescribing it, saying, when you do this type of work, you will wear this PPE. Then we have to go further and we have to actually document and train our employees, have that documented, that we train them on the proper use, care, and limitations of our PPE. Now, in this case today, we're focusing primarily on face and eye protection. Think about this. I don't know if any of you all out there are shooters where you go to the trap range and you shoot, or I know we're probably all mostly drivers. Think about trying to look in your rear view mirror when you're driving down the highway to check traffic behind you without a right eye because you got something in it at work. Or think about checking that passenger side, or the driver's side mirror with your left eye gone. If you try to look at that mirror with your left eye gone, you physically have to turn your head to see into that mirror. And at that point, your peripheral vision is gone on the entire right side of your vehicle. Or vice versa with the rear view mirror, you need to turn your head to look at the rear view mirror. And in that case, your whole peripheral vision on the side of your vehicle is gone. Or if you want to go play ball with your kids and your kids throw you a baseball, and my son, he's got about a 60, 75 mile an hour pitch. Trying to catch that with two eyes is difficult because two eyes gives me triangulation. I can judge depth. But with one eye, I get whacked with the ball. So two eyes give us triangulation to give us depth perception. Without one of those eyes, wow. We need to wear safety glasses for a lot of things that we do. Sometimes people don't wear safety glasses because they don't think they need to. For example, I had a sheet metal worker that was working using these tin snips. And you'll notice that the tin snips have one of the pieces broke off. This top piece is broke off. Now we thought that was a fluke. About 3 years after that happened, we had another one that we picked up in the field that broke off. This one, when it broke off, actually ended up sticking in the guy's nose. He said it shot up and shot in his nose, and he pulled it out, and that'll put an eye out real quick. Now, I'm sure these sheet metal guys have arms the size of my legs to be able to break those cutters like that. But when you least expect it, why would you think you would get hit in the eye with anything while you're cutting sheet metal with shears? So we need to contemplate, we need to think about the different issues that may come up with different personal protective equipment and where we would need it. Do those hazard assessments in the general industry setting. So I brought some other things here. I want to talk to you real briefly about our eyes. And they're the only two that we have. I got to wear contact lenses so that I can focus at distance. But they're the only two eyes that we have. We did an accident investigation where a guy was working and he wasn't really even doing anything where he was throwing particles or anything, but he was on a construction site. And they had a rack set up and there was some threaded rod sticking out of the end of the rack. There was something on the ground that he wanted to pick up, and that threaded rod blended in with the ground. He couldn't see it. It wasn't easily seen. And when he went down to pick this object up on the ground, the threaded rod hit him in the side of his eye. Now, if you take your index finger, go ahead and try it, and lightly push on the side of your eye until you see a little gray or black spot towards the bridge of your nose, you're applying about a 1/4 pound pressure to your eyeball. And at that point, you're kind of stretching your optic nerve, you're changing the shape of your eye, and you're causing a little blind spot right there towards the center of your nose if you see that little black spot. At about 15 pounds pressure in the same spot, we're going to pop our eyeball out of our socket. We're going to tear our optic nerve. We're going to do irreversible damage to our eye. So to me, it makes a lot of sense to wear safety glasses in those types of environments, any kind of environment where we've got employees working. Here's a pair of dark safety glasses. Yeah, they look like sunglasses. Take a look at how the impact works on dark safety glasses or clear safety glasses. I can put 15 pounds pressure pretty easily on my eye, and it disperses the impact or the force around the hard tissue around the skull and not directly on the eyeball. So by having safety glasses on, that are molded of a plastic that isn't going to break on or on impact. It shouldn't have sharp edges around your eye. It's going to disperse the impact over a larger area, and it's going to protect your eye. Now, I've had some other questions where people come up about different kinds of safety glasses. These were my grandpa's. He worked at Republic Steel in Massillon, and Grandpa was a great guy. He died back in the 90s. But these are known in the business as birth control glasses. And the guys that wore these in the steel mills, they said no woman would ever get close enough for them to have kids if they wore glasses like this. So it started to evolve in the late 80s and the 90s, and they started coming out with different kinds of safety glasses. I don't know if y'all remember these from back in I think these are Patriots, and they're made by Uvex from back in the day. And this is kind of 1980s, 1990s. And it's funny as heck because my kids have these glasses now called Pit Vipers. And my daughter's 12, my son's 18. And it's the new fad. And it's all it is these glasses that are blue mirrored. So it's kind of a fashion statement making a full circle. Glasses have come and gone, and they're going to keep coming and going. And there's going to be a lot of different types of safety glasses that are out there in the field. They range in price from anywhere from, I don't know, $1.50 for a lightweight type of glasses like these to you can pay $80 or $90 for Oakley glasses, sometimes even more than that for those types of glasses. Now I'm going to stand up here for a second. I've got some other examples of eyewear that I'd like to show you. Here's some safety glasses that we have here at our little store, and these are interesting because they have bifocals in them. They've got -1.5 or -2 power. They're bifocal type glasses, and they're not going to break the bank. So if you've got older workers that need to wear safety glasses for $5 or $6, you can pick up bifocal type glasses. And now these are darker glasses. Now I want to point out to you in your hazard assessment, dark glasses should not be worn inside of a building. They can cause limitation where you can't see clearly in darker areas. Here's a pair of over-the-glass safety glasses. So you can wear your regular prescription glasses, and you can wear these glasses over the safety glasses, and that will provide a higher level of protection. And again, they're not priced, and not that I'm trying to sell them to you, but I'm telling you, out there on the open market for $4.25, you can get a pretty decent pair of safety glasses, or for $6, the bifocal type glasses, or for $1.75, dark sunglasses / safety glasses that meet the ANSI standard. There's some yellow ones, guys like Amber. There's blue glasses, and they cut the glare, and you're also, they don't create a restriction. I get a lot of questions about these. These are basically what these are side shields that can clip onto glasses. And people ask me the question, they ask, will those meet OSHA's requirement for safety glasses? And the answer to that is no, they won't. OSHA has a provision that says you can put snap-on or loose side shields onto your glasses, but the glasses have to be safety rated. So when you go to Walmart or you go to Giant Eagle or wherever you go to get glasses, you can get safety glasses that have removable side shields. And they have to say Z87 though on the frame. And I want to point out to you that the glass lenses, you may put side shields on your glasses and feel that you've got protection now from flying debris or particles, but you may not, because if something hits those glasses and they're not safety rated glasses with side shields on them, you could get glass in your eye, or you could actually have them break. And typically they'll break right on that hinge on the side of the glasses on impact, or at the bridge of the nose. And that the sharp edges of the plastic or the metal frame of the glasses can cut into your eye. So not only do you need to do this, and you need to make sure your employees do it, you need to make sure that they have prescription glasses that are ANSI Z87 rated, and you need to make sure their side shields are in place if they have things that could get them in the eye, flying particles or debris or what have you. And your hazard assessment, again, will make that determination. Some other things that I want to point out to you. This is a like a schmog that employees wear in hot environments, and this protects their head, their ears. It's fire resistant, and it's used in those types of environments. I would hate to have to wear something like this out on the road crew today, or in the work environment where it's not air conditioned and cool. In the wintertime, people like to wear those for the instance of protection, not only warmth, but the protective value that it can provide. We also have some other little devices here. Here's a face shield. And this face shield actually clips onto that helmet that I had on earlier. And this is a darker face shield. So we would use this in the process of using a cutting torch. And OSHA actually prescribes in the standard that if you're using a torch and you're cutting certain types of metals or certain types of products, they prescribe to you what the darkness of the lens needs to be. So that's all spelled out again in the OSHA standard. Another thing that I want to point out to you, with not just with eye and face protection, but what happens if we get something in our eyes. And having a safety shower or a eye wash in an environment where employees may get something in their eyes is a great idea. And in a lot of cases with OSHA, it's a part or a requirement of the standard. So if we're working around caustics, or we have battery charging areas, or we're working around batteries and we're charging batteries for forklifts or cars or vehicles, we need to make sure that a safety shower is within 10 seconds of that location that people are doing that type of work. Now, I got a couple other little things here that I want to point out. Along with that hazard assessment, 1910-132 with OSHA, one of the things that they say that the application, this is 132A, protective equipment, including personal protective equipment for the eyes, face, head, and extremities, protective clothing, respiratory devices, and protective shields and barriers shall be provided, used, and maintained in a sanitary and reliable condition wherever it is necessary by reason of hazards or of processes or environment, chemical hazards, radiological hazards, or mechanical irritants encountered in a manner capable of causing injury or impairment in the function of any part of the body through absorption, inhalation, or physical contact. So what they're saying is it's the employer's responsibility to identify what the hazard is, maybe have a hazard assessment for the different positions that you do, and then provide that PPE for the employees. Now, there's only two pieces that I know of PPE that employees kind of have to provide on their own, but employers have to make sure that they have them, and that is specialized footwear. If you have to wear specialized footwear and it's only to be left at work, that PPE should be paid for by the employee, or I'm sorry, by the employer. But if they can wear the footwear home, the employee typically buys their own steel toes or their own metatarsals. The other thing would be prescription eyewear. And a lot of employers say, we're not paying for your prescription eyewear. You'll have to wear over the glass safety glasses. And that's legitimate. That's fine. But what I would point out to you guys is most employers will at least pay a portion of safety eyewear. Make sure they wear the side shields in place if they have to wear that. And if they don't, then you make sure they wear over the glass glasses that you provide for them in those types of environments. This past summer, I ruined a great shirt. My wife had this fantastic idea that we had to have a 5-foot deep round swimming pool in the backyard because the kids wanted to splash around. And I think it was green longer than it was clear, but that's beside the point, and the pool's now closed. Every time that she would have me go out there to shock it to get rid of the green, I would put my glasses on, my sunglasses or my safety glasses. I really should have had splash resistant goggles on because I ruined a great shirt, one of my favorite shirts. It had white little spots all over it from the pool shock splashing out of the pool and getting on my shirt. After I got back in the house, I looked at that and I said, man, I need to be a little more careful when I put this pool shock in the pool because I don't want to ruin any clothes. And then I got looking at the sodium hypochlorite safety precaution stuff. And if that little splash that was on my shirt would have made it past my safety glasses or in my eye, I could have been blinded by that. That's at home. That's not at work. We need to think about these things. How many times have you ever hooked up jumper cables on your car and it's the negative is black and the positive is red, and you're hooking the cables up and you're trying to remember and something touches and there's a spark? Has anybody out there ever seen a battery blow up? I had it happen when I was 18 or 19 years old. I was jumping an old Ford Bronco and we were jumping the battery and bam, it just popped. Battery acid blew all over the inside of the hood. I didn't get it on me. I didn't have safety glasses on. I was dumb and had no idea what was going on with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I blew this battery up, not even realizing that battery acid was all over the place. Think about what happens when you're in a battery charging station and that caustic splashes, or you're putting water in a battery and it splashes out of the battery. Those are just common things. There's a lot of cleaners that we use. How do we protect? Safety glasses are not the answer when you're working with splashing liquids. Actually, we need to go a step further, and we need to go with, let's see if I can do this for y'all. We need to go with goggles, chemical resistant goggles. And you know, interestingly, if you look at the safety data sheet for the different chemicals that you work with, the safety data sheet will spell out that you need protective eyewear, and it may go as far to say that you need to have splash resistant goggles, chemically resistant goggles. And if that's the case, and OSHA comes in and makes a little review of your facility, and you're not using splash resistant goggles, you're just using safety glasses, that could render a citation your direction. Now, how much is the citation? I don't know, I think it's 14,000 or 14.5 for a violation of the standard. Now they may reduce it down a little bit because of the company size or good nature or good faith or you know, probability or what, who knows what. But you're still going to get a fine if you're not wearing chemical resistant goggles when you're dumping chemicals. These are things that we need to think about out there in the construction world and in the industrial world. So I have a few other little things that I'd like to just talk to you guys about. The construction standard. Construction standard says that employee-owned equipment, and the general industry standard, by the way, says this also. It says that employee-owned equipment, where employees provide their own protective equipment, the employer shall be responsible to assure its adequacy, including proper maintenance and sanitation of such equipment. So if your employees are bringing their own safety glasses to work because they don't like the ones that you issue, they need to be safety glasses. They can't be just sunglasses. And whose fault is it? Well, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. Who's paying the bill? You're going to pay the workers' comp claim, and you're going to receive the citation from OSHA, you, the employer. So we need to mandate that if employees are bringing their own equipment in, that it's in good functional shape, that it's clean and in sanitary order, and that it's applicable to what we're using it for in the field. Gosh. I've had some questions about there's clear mirrored safety glasses. And I honestly, I'm going to walk out to my little store because I didn't have any here. And I've got some clear mirrored safety glasses on the shelf. So I want to show you what clear mirrored safety glasses look like and what OSHA's and what the position is of most employers. Here's some clear mirrored ones. These things are nice for the fact that you can't see my eyes and you can't see where I'm looking. I got a price tag on the center of my nose too. That can come off. But these things are not dark. They're only mirrored. So if I work in an environment where there's a lot of light shining around or bright fluorescence, these glasses might make it a little easier on my eyes. I have a company that I do a lot of work with, and they have a MagnaFlux machine. And their MagnaFlux machine, they calibrate the ultraviolet light. And the guy showed me that we did a safety meeting there on safety glasses. And the guys pulled me aside and said, Curt, you got to see this. This is the coolest thing ever. I'm okay, what is it? They took a pair of clear safety glasses. They weren't mirrored, they were just clear plastic safety glasses that they were issued that they have to wear. And they laid them on the calibrator that calibrates the ultraviolet light. And when the calibrator is in the machine, it showed 100% ultraviolet light. And they put these clear lenses that, I mean, it didn't look like they filtered anything, but they're 100% UV protection. They put them over top of this indicator, and they applied the ultraviolet light, and it showed 0 ultraviolet light. It was fantastic to me. It was like, you can't see it, but it's protecting. I'll also tell you a story. My grandfather was in World War II, and he was a pilot. He flew B-24s in Ireland, and he flew them out of Ireland over into or Scotland over that way, and flew missions in Germany. And I have his original flight glasses, and they're a green glass lens with an ivory bridge on the nose and in a neat little leather case. And I wore those a couple of times when I was a kid because I thought they were cool, but every time I wore them out in the bright sun, my eyes would bother me. And I come to find out that those glasses have no UV protection whatsoever. They look cool and they cut the glare a little bit, but they let the UV light straight through. And it hurt my eyes. My grandfather had cataracts when he was 55 years old from flying with a shiny airplane and shining sunlight into his eyes and burning his eyes, not knowing that he didn't have that UV protection. And I don't think they knew that much about it back in the 1940s. So we've come an awful long way. What I want to urge you guys to do is to do the hazard assessments, to buy the right equipment. And for heaven's sake, if your employees are tired of those $1.75 safety glasses and they go through them 3 or 4 pairs a week, buy something a little different, maybe a little nicer. Give them an allowance where they can buy it and they have to check it in with you so they can come in and be comfortable. And if they wear the glasses that they're comfortable in and not that they're being forced to wear, oftentimes they'll wear those glasses all the time and they'll take good care of them. And that's what I want to strongly urge with you. I've seen a lot of accidents where people have been hit in the face, they've had safety glasses on, and they've protected their eyes. And I've seen a few accidents where they haven't had glasses on. And those are tragic because the ability to go out and go to the shotgun range and shoot trap is gone when you lose one of your eyes. You can't focus any longer. You can't go deer hunting. You can't do the things that you want to do, playing ball with your kids or looking in the rearview mirror of the car without changing the whole way you do things. Your eyes are the only two that you have, and you really need to take care of them. So with that, I'd like to wrap this up. And I would also invite all of you that if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at my company. My name is Curt Speck, Curtspeck. And my company is Safety Resources Company of Ohio. My email is curt@srcoh.com. And I appreciate you guys today. Thanks for being with us, and I hope you got something from this.
Awesome, good stuff. So if anybody has any questions right now, go ahead and put them in the chat. The one question that I got sent to me directly, Curt, you talked a little bit ago about eye washes. There was some questions around eye wash inspections and what's required and who does it and all that kind of stuff. Could you maybe cover that for a second?
I think we have to do the eye wash inspections according to the manufacturer. I believe that once a month, it could be twice a month that the requirement is in the standard. I'm not remembering right off the bat, but we do need to document that the eye wash is functional, that it's accessible, and that it's clean. One of the worst things that we run into when we do audits in facilities is you'll see an eye wash station that's in an industrial plant that's covered with dirt and dust. And then when somebody goes to use it in an emergency situation, now it's not clean water that's coming out, but it's muddy water, dusty, dirty water that's blowing off the spigots into somebody's face. So we want to make sure that they're kept clean and that we do that regular inspection on them, I would say at a minimum monthly.
Awesome. I agree. I know when I do walkthroughs, the eye wash being blocked is one of the most common things. You know, everybody likes to block the eye washes, block the exits, block the fire extinguishers. So we want to make sure they're not doing that.
Absolutely. And another thing to look at too is when on the portable eye washes, if the stabilizer is current, and also the bottles that we use for eye wash, that they are still current. I've found them where they're 2, 3, 4 years old, that they've been expired. And I know it's sterile saline solution on the inside, but what we have to remember is that if light makes it to that water, it will grow algae over a period of time. And you don't want to squirt algae water into your eyes to try to clean them out. So let's try to keep the eye washes up to date.
Definitely, definitely. All right. Well, I want to challenge our group with one last thing. If you could put in the chat, give me an example of when you use safety glasses at home. So I think that's one thing. We come to these safety meetings and we don't always think about safety at home. And Curt gave some amazing examples of things like pool and chlorine in your pool, of when we want to use safety glasses at home. So I see mowing the lawn, using the weed eater, definitely. Weed eating, laying new floor, definitely. So keep those coming. That's good stuff. I do want to let everybody know that we do have a winner. Adam Kokas from Feria, if you're still here, it looks like you're still here, so give me something in the chat. And Sally's going to be in touch with you, Adam, and you won the prize for this month. And then keep those coming. So that's good stuff. Definitely, something we want to make sure that we're thinking about using these safety equipment at home. I can tell you my son, he is a freshman in college and he had a chemistry class, and they had their first class was safety. And then the second day, typical 18-year-old, well, Mom, I lost my glasses. I'm like, you got to go buy more. I don't have splash resistant. I only have safety glasses. So he had to go get another pair of the splash resistant, and they look just like the BC glasses. Those are lovely, the birth control glasses. So when you use your saw, great. Great. Okay, Adam's there. So we are good to go. I'm not seeing any questions. Sally, are you seeing any questions? A little interactivity. We're good to go. All right.
Nothing on my end.
We are. Okay, great. We're giving you 15 extra minutes today, so make sure you do something useful with that, even if it's just your breathing exercises that we talked about over the last year. Pressure washing, definitely. Good stuff. All right. Well, thank you guys. Again, I'm going to pull up my screen and just show you one last time. Don't forget about the mega meeting that we have coming up Wednesday, October 6th. Remember, it's a different day. So it's not the third Wednesday. It's actually the first Wednesday. So we'll see you the first Wednesday for this mega meeting. Sally will blast that out a couple times. Hey, even think about maybe getting your CEO to watch this one, because it's all about culture and how you lead in safety and how you can get things accomplished. So might be a really good one to get your CEO or anybody else at your facility to watch with you. And then also keep in mind in November, we're going to do the breakout rooms at the beginning. So if you join a little early, you're going to get to talk to some folks. And, I will tell you, when we said we're going to set up the top 10 OSHA violations for speakers, we were worried. And so now we have, Curt, who showed us that you can knock eye and face protection out of the park. And we're going to have the same thing with machine guarding in November. So thank you so much, Curt. We really appreciate you coming and sharing with us. If we could just give a round of applause, use your reaction button, and everybody show Curt what a wonderful job he did. We really do appreciate it. Lots of people clapping for you there. Look at all those numbers. We got more than half of them. So good
Thanks
stuff.
very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of September. Bye, guys.